Hey guys, welcome to, let's see, part 3 to What If Deku Was a Villain. Now, look, I checked my last video, pretty good amount of views considering that the first one got so many views. Comment. I need people to comment because if you want part 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even part 17, you gotta let me know as a person so that I can be aware and just things aren't full of shit, you know? Because it took a lot. I feel a lot better. That's why I didn't want to record. I don't want to sound like a hunk of garbage. And I'm adjusting background noises again. I'm recording on my bed. My sister and me share a room, and because she's a little psychopath, she wants to turn on the AC. So, if you hear like any bed springs or some crumbling in the background, I'm lying on my comforter. So, yeah. I'll try to like I try to I don't want to stay in the bathroom too long because people might think I'm doing weird shit in there, and I don't want, and I can't risk recording downstairs, especially considering that there's other people in my house, my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my aunt. We live in a pretty big house. Rent ain't cheap, but there's a bunch of people here, so it is what it is. Um, anyway, so let's get started, shall we? Because I just wasted a minute of your time. Um, anyway, so when we last left off, Deku and Uraraka walked out in their just majorly changed outfits, and I got a brief cameo. Well, you guys got a brief cameo from. Dude, you're on. You're on. Say it. Dude.
Jesus.
I told you she's a little psychopath. Anyway, my sister made an appearance to demonstrate Uraraka's outfit because I had no idea what in the name of God to do with her. I figure that since Deku's a villain and Uraraka is aware of his beliefs and she's trying to help him, turn off the goddamn AC. I'm gonna freeze my ass off in here, man. I'm sorry. It sounds like I'm being mean to my little sister. Do you really want it on that badly? Anyway, I'm gonna add like more villain stuff. But seriously, the what if. So, they come out, and especially in canon, everybody's grouped exactly the way they are. So, with Izuku, Uraraka, Bakugo, and Ida's fight, things turned out a bit differently. Kachan comes and he blasts forward directly to Deku. And because he had time to react, but Uraraka managed to kick him off. She's wearing heels, right? Okay, she kicked him off using the knife, just taking out the knife inside her heel, kicking him in the stomach, causing him to start bleeding. But she quickly retracted it to make sure that he wasn't aware of what happened. All for One actually had to, not All for One, Izuku actually had to sneak, no, they had to sneak in and make the adjustment to their gear to add more villainous equipment after dark to make sure that they aren't suspicious when their treachery starts to show to the school. But anyway, he starts bleeding, and he starts bleeding, and still can't breathe through my nose. I don't understand why. Um, he starts bleeding in the gut, and Deku tells Ochaku, "Go, stop Ida. I'll take care of this guy." And Bakugo just loses it. He charges forward and tries to dive bomb Deku, but this time he just sleeks his way around him, kicking him in the back. And like, you know how when Deku develops shoot style, Bakugo tries out his AP shot and the rubble nearly crushes All Might? In this timeline, he tries to do something similar to that, but instead of cupping his hand like into a tiny little cup, tinily small, he made a big large circle with his hands, kind of like a dome, and then he calls it rocket explosion, 10,000 degree burn, and then with that, like the explosion comes out from both parts of his hand. Because instead of him like cupping his hands and putting them together like a kamehameha to make them to make it powerful, because the only parts for it to exit is the front part of the dome and the back part, the explosion shoots out, hitting Deku directly in the stomach, exploding, but luckily not damaging the suit because it's obviously a lot strong. It's not a regular suit, obviously. The vest or the waistcoat or the waistcoat or whatever you want to call it, it's tight. It's a liquid titanium alloy weaved with a Kevlar like fabric into the clothing. I know the science talk might get some people annoyed, but I just want some of my fellow scientists in the crowd to be aware. Yes, there are. I am trying to think. So because of the Kevlar and it's weaved into the cloth stuff, none of these things broke. So Izuku has had enough and he's done messing around. He jumps up and he punches Kachan in the face. And remember how I said Izuku likes to get excited? Well, in this moment, he gets really excited and he pulls a knife off his belt buckle. A knife that Kachan didn't even notice that he had. And he guts him like a fish, just going to town on his stomach. And he figured he could make it look like an accident too. But Kachan is just bleeding out on this floor. And he reaches his fist back, covering it in fire, punching into him. His head is bashing the against the concrete floor. Izuku is aware in his head that if he doesn't stop, he could kill him. But he doesn't want to, and he knows people are gonna be curious when they find his body so badly damaged with knife wounds on his thing. So, using the secret ear communicator that he and Uraraka have, he tells her, Uraraka, I'm wherever you are, make sure you're safe. I love you and I want to make sure that you don't end up hurt. I'm going for a full-scale attack. And as you can see on screen, this drawing of Evil Deku, he has a wicked, sinister smile on his face. He has that same smile, and he raises both of his hands up, and he calls this Phoenix Rising Annihilation Flame. And in just one swift motion of his hand, the fire comes down on Katsuki. But like, Kachan tries to make an explosion to fend it off. So, and Deku was aware of that this is a real possibility, and he wasn't freaking out in his head. No. No. He wanted this to happen. He wanted them to think. So, instead of jumping away to avoid the heat from his things, he jumped headfirst into the fire. And the Ultra Kevlar, and because his clothes are a breathable like Kevlar titanium alloy mix. Basically, it's a bunch of fucked up cartoon metal that makes it super strong, but it doesn't weigh 10,000 pounds. So, the only thing that truly gets damaged is his body. He has a bunch of large, deep scars on his face that he created with his own knife to make it look like the explosion caused the tearing of the flesh. And he actually has a brutal flesh wound from Kachan's explosion on one of his arms, his right arm. So he lays there. He takes his knife and cuts into the wound, smiling as he does so, knowing that Kachan got exactly what he deserves. He falls down. All Might's over there watching this, he's like, oh my god, those kids, what did they do? What did they do? All Might knows that he has 5 minutes left as a hero. If he does not, but if he uses his powers to take out the fire and to get everyone out, he'll be exposed. It's all up to them now. So, with Uraraka, she's made it to Ida's room, right? But instead of doing Comet Home Run like in the original, she makes herself listen, in this timeline she's a lot more skilled with her power. So she makes the gravity around her feet lighter so that she can jump high, but she makes the gravity around her arms heavier. So that way when she punches something, it feels like her hand is more dense. So even though her hand is just its regular hand, to other people, it feels like it's like a giant rock or something. So she charges up at Ida and she's like, dual gravity cannon fist! And she jumps forward, knocking this guy unconscious. But in that moment, Ida gets up, takes off his cape, and with his broken mask, he gives her a look full of bloodlust, and he's just like, you will not make me discourage my clan. And he charges up and he punches. He uses his speed, he just bodies her, spinning around in a circle, punching up into her. And as she's getting hit, she's like, this bloodlust, I've only felt this from 3 people. Deku, all for one, and that boy with the hands. Maybe he might be a good part of the team after all. She falls back, but she looks at him, and she's blinking, and then her eyes go back into her head, and in her head, Deku's telling her, I love you, and you're supposed to love me, but you're weak. This version of Deku laughs at her, face full of scorn, disgust. And he looks at her and he's like, you're nothing but an insect under my boot, and I can't wait for you to get crushed. And she starts to cry, and she looks at him and she's like, no, I won't fail you, Deku. I love you too much for that. So she gets up and she punches Ida in his face. And instead of doing her Comet home run, using her lightened gravity foot and her heavy hands, she punches into the wall, ripping off a big chunk of it, kicking the support beam for the thing, knowing full well that the wall is going to collapse on Ida. So, quickly, she dashes forward, grabbing the rocket, jumping out of the building as the building crumbles down on Ida, breaking his leg. In this timeline, I know what I'm doing. I'm setting it up. Ida's leg is broken, and one of his exhaust pipes on his engine that has been literally fucking closed in. Like, you know how when you have like one of those weak little metal pipes and when a really big rock hits it, it gets crushed. That's what happens. It got crushed, so the exhaust port is closed. So that means when he's running and he's using his engines, that will close. And it's not stated in canon, at least I don't think so. I've not begun watching season 4 yet, because I'm letting them stockpile, then I can watch them all one Saturday morning on Hulu. But, I believe that if the fumes aren't it's like a car. If the noxious fumes aren't let out from that one engine, he will die. Because it's the carbon dioxide staying in his body. Sorry. So, All Might comes out and he's like, you guys pass. Yay. Oh, right. In this timeline, everybody else won. Their scores stay the same. But Ochako, Izuku, Kachan, and Ida's change, obviously. Anyway. Oh, we still got 4 minutes left. Honestly, I'm gonna make this a bit longer than the other one. Because my first one was like 32 minutes. But, anyway. In the medical ward, when Ochako found out what happened to Deku, he woke up and she was just sitting there next to him. And even though he was still, even though he was still a bit hurt from all the punishment he gave to himself to make it look real, she punched him square in the gut. But not like in a way like, I'll kill you, in a way like, if you do that, don't you ever try to leave me again. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing. I know some people see through me, and I know I ship them so hard. But listen. They're gonna happen in this story. give it patience. You don't just meet someone and fall in love. Their shared beliefs and spending all this time together. They already developed a deep bond, believe it or not. That's why you can say I love you to her and shit like that. They're not in a relationship yet. But it will have its place. Realistically, in the next part of this video, I'm dual uploading. I'm going to dual upload. If I do not, I'm so sorry. It's because, most likely, there is too much loud noise in the house, and I cannot. Right now, my sister just left, so I have our room, completely silent. So, let's finish this, shall we? So, next day in class, everybody looks at Kachan. Everybody looks at Kachan's empty seat. And then Aizawa walks in, and he's like, today, training has been cancelled. Katsuki Bakugo has been severely injured, and he is in critical condition. In this time, Kurishima and Bakugo haven't started to bond yet, so he has literally no friends. No one cares. So, yes, people feel bad that he's hurt and he's probably gonna die, but they're like, oh, that's tough. Nothing to do about here. So they go on with their regular lives, you know? What would you do in that situation? You can't do nothing. So, but it's like, everybody's still kind of shaken up about it. The guy is in serious condition. Everybody starts to give Midoriya the side eye, right? Because even though he wasn't like the most nice guy in the class, he was still the thing. Then everybody started to hate Midoriya. Until, right? But wait. Sorry, I'm just doing the timeline in my head. I forgot for a little bit. Because I remember the timeline goes, the hero villain training, then the USJ attack, then the sports festival, then the training camp, and then it's the rescue arc to save Eri. Oh shit! Spoiler alert. If you didn't wait, I didn't tell you from who. Plus, if you didn't watch up to the end of season 3, you don't even know who overall is. But anyway, for those whose Hero Academia things I've just spoiled, that's tough. I feel kind of bad. But you didn't have to watch this YouTube video. Anyway, let's continue. So let's get back into it. As I was saying, everybody hates Midoriya. I don't understand why. I don't know why. I do know why. I created this, obviously. I know all the answers. I know how everything works. No, I really don't. And like, I've watched other what ifs and I've seen people do that, and it's kind of annoying. Like, if you do a what if for a show like Naruto, fine. Things have been fleshed out. My Hero Academia is not done. The characters haven't grown up enough yet, and we still don't know the full limitations and capabilities of other people's quirks, especially Class A. Maybe Invisible Girl will find out a way to refract the light in such a way that she can make parts of her body invisible, or turn visible and make other people invisible. So, like, on missions, she can make herself and a whole squadron of her teammates invisible. We don't know. Anyway, they're in an alleyway. It's pitch dark. They're roughing up this guy who owes All For One some money. Don't know why you trust that guy. Don't want to find out. So, Deku, he honestly sees this guy as subhuman garbage. This is kind of like a Pain Conan situation. You know how Pain feels? He's God and Conan is his angel. It's sweet, but it's also disturbing at the same time. Because he's not God, and she ain't an angel, man. She's made of fucking paper. But, hey, that's just me. Anyway, he grabs him by the neck, lifting him up off his feet. This man is in his 20s, by the way, and slams him into the wall. Ochako just loses her absolute shit. She kicks him across the face, puts out her knife blade, puts the knife blade, her boot, right next to him, right? Put the boot with the blade inside the heel right next to him. Asks him, do you have All for One's money? He gets hit, he's like, no. And then she's like, wrong answer, and kills him. Bro, it was brutal. She just sliced his neck wide open. And, look, Izuku doesn't get turned on by this, but he's like, you just took charge like that. And he starts blushing, and then she's like, well, we gotta get back to the base. Alright? By the way, in this timeline, it seems All for One adopted Izuku under the alias of a single mom by sending, not Toga, but a man who can use a power called Absolute Copy, where he doesn't copy quirks, but he copies their appearance. So he copied the appearance of a woman that they kidnapped and then killed, right? And he kept it in his transformation log, and she adopted it, and then Ochako just pretend ran away. Well, no. Her parents live in another city, so she didn't run away. She just lives at the base now. She hasn't told her parents that she wants to help villains, because they'd kill her. Her mom would kill her. Hello. So they're in the base. And Izuku's like, we gotta make a move. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this waiting. I hate it. I feel that if we don't make a move on UA soon, they're gonna up their game, and then it's gonna be all over. I just don't see this ending. What if this all goes wrong? What if everything goes wrong? Huh? She looks at him. She's like, how do you know everything won't go right? How do you know everything won't go right, genius? And then she punches him in the arm. How do you know that we will ride off into the sunset, freeing the world from fake heroes and people like All Might? We just have to hope, we just have to pray, and we just have to see what is going to happen. I have faith in you, and I believe in you. And then she hugs him, and then she kisses him on the lips, and then she leaves. Okay? We're gonna skip to the USJ, okay? So the attack plays out differently. Let's begin. So they meet Space Hero 13, right? And this time, instead of the League of Villains attacking and causing a full frontal attack right there at the steps of where they were getting briefed, Izuku came up with a strategic plan where Kurogiri would come out with a small battalion of people, because he knew Ozawa's quirk is to erase. So he came out with a small battalion of people with mutation quirks, meaning their quirks are built into their bodies. So he can't stop their quirk, feel me? So like, say if their mutation was 4 arms grown out of their body in addition to their 2 arms, he can't stop anything. They're still really strong with those extra 2 arms. Or if you got a tail or something, or you're bigger, you can augment your size. He can't change that. Okay? So that's the battle plan. Deku figures that it's smarter to divide and conquer instead of trying to fall on front. So Deku pretends, on the day of the attack, Deku pretends like everything's going to plan. But in actuality, he planned, and he made sure that Kurogiri, he made sure that he stood next to Ochako, and one of the weakest members of the class that wouldn't put up a fight. So he could pretend that they were knocked out. So, being a good battle tactician, he picked Mineta. Because, honestly, this is the zone that they were put into. The Avalanche Zone. I don't remember all the zones off the top of my head, but I know there was a Shipwreck Zone, an Avalanche Zone, an Earthquake Zone, an Earthquake Rescue Zone. So I figured there's probably an Avalanche Zone. So they're at the tip of the mountain, and Minette is like, "Yeah, you have a fire quirk, so we should be out of here in a jiffy." Like a fucking idiot. And Deku's like, "Yeah." Until he pretends, he holds Ochaka's hand, and he's like, "Be careful, I steal a lot of hearts. And I might even steal your girls." And then he licks his lips and looked at Ochako. And in Deku's mind, he was trying to hold back his anger. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill this midget. I'm gonna grab him by his fucking neck and I'm gonna break it. Who the hell does he think talking to what is mine? Who the hell does he think he is talking to her like that? Next time, we will not hesitate to fucking end him." Okay, so, he just decides that he pretends to fall down the mountain, and he pretends his is like, "Ah! No!" And then the two of them pretend to fall down the mountain. Ah! Until Mineta couldn't hear them anymore. And then the super pervy grape brush shed one tear. And he's like, "Of course, Izuku knew to send winged Nomu to this part. The mountain was very thin, so there wasn't a lot of walk space, obviously. So, Mineta's like, instead of crying because his classmates might be dead, he's crying because, damn, she had a hot body. And I can't believe it went to waste. Wonder if I could find her at the bottom of the mountain." Not knowing that Uraraka was right there, listening to him talking out loud. Okay, so that damn perv.
That damn perv.
Wow. Jesus Christ, Uraraka, I've never seen you so... It's rare to see those bursts of anger in you, but I love it. Yes, he is a disgusting pervert, isn't he? I'm gonna enjoy watching the Nomu pick them apart. Hope they can save this life for good old Deku. Now, you're probably like, "Jesus Christ, man, why you hating on Mineta?" If you like Mineta, I don't fucking care. He fucking sucks. His whole character is, "I am a gross pervert. Hate me." Yes, the one with the one with the circles on his head. Are you fucking kidding me right now, bro? Whatever. His whole character is, "I'm a gross pervert and hate me." So in this thing, the winged Nomu come down and they claw and they scratch him up. He's in a pile. But Deku flies up all dramatic, like, from the side of the mountain. And he's like, "Yes, you're here to save me." Until Deku steps on his throat, crushing his larynx, making it unable for him to talk. He knows that if the fall down the mountain didn't kill him, he won't snitch. And he'll make sure to destroy his fingers so he can't write it out either. So he's like, "Don't you ever in your pathetic, possibly about to end life, do you speak that way about Ochako got it. And he stepped on his throat even harder, and he's like, got it. This guy knew that he did not want to get his larynx. He did not know that his larynx was already crushed. He didn't want to die either. So Deku lifted him up by his crushed neck, by the way. He ain't dead yet, sadly. And threw him off the fucking mountain. That wasn't enough. He created a fireball and threw it down with him. Of course, not forgetting to crush his fingers, making sure he... So, as Mineta fell down the mountain, Deku forgot. Fuck, I forgot to crush the fingers. He couldn't risk Mineta coming back as a liability, so he sent down one of the winged Nomu to make sure that it was dead. 5 minutes later, the Nomu flew back off the mountain and was like... And then he saw a pop-off ball with a rock on it right there next to the side of the Nomu's head. He had no doubt about it. Mineta, that lucky son of a bitch, survived the fall. Fuck. He'd be a liability if he came back. He earphoned into Shigaraki, and Shigaraki's like, All Might just burst onto the scene. Everything's going wrong, man. What are we gonna do? And he's like, I have an idea. And he knows that it's a bit of a leap of faith. But in order for his booster course to be fully active, he needs to take off his fire quirk for a little. So he asks one of the Nomu. It has a quirk blocking power, but he didn't know that at the time. And he's like, Shigaraki, what can the red Nomu do? And he's like, that winged one is special. He blocks quirks. And then he pushes him and tells him to fire at him. And he jumps off and it hits him directly in the back. Right? So now the guy's free falling out of a window like a crazy person. And so he is soaring down there to see Mineta still alive. He's not sure when it wears off, but he starts trying to make a fireball in his hand. And it's getting smaller, but it's getting bigger and bigger until it grows in his hand. And then he lets his arm on his fist. Shit. And he punches into Mineta's head. Lucky for Mineta, because of the pop-off balls on his head, by some miracle, his head is so elastic that it won't stay crushed. So, all that did was severely damage him. This guy fell off a cliff, but because he threw a bunch of pop-off balls, he bounced up and his injuries were minimized. Scumbag still alive, huh? Fine, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Dude, be quiet. He presses a button on one of his gloves, and then, like little metal covers the knuckles of each glove, and he starts punching into Mineta's face, punching into him. He starts to bleed until he's had enough. He takes his knife and he cuts off both of Mineta's hands. Now he knows. He may know, but I never will. And just to make sure of it, he sticks a little bomb inside the stump on this guy's hand. He is low-key about to die. And then he's just like, screw you. And then he punches him in the mouth, leaving another mini bomb. And in the moment, he jumps up, creating a shield of flame underneath his feet. And then, boom, the explosion sent him taking off. And he knows what he has to do. Kurogiri, teleport Ochako there. Pretend that you're holding her hostage. Kurogiri does what he's told and he grabs her by the neck. And then All Might's there and he's caught, shocked in a moment until the Nomu gets the upper hand and starts punching into him. All Might starts bleeding. Crap. And I forgot to give this to young Mirio. And then the Nomu just socks him in the gut. But no, it's not good enough. I never even got to give the court to young Mirio. He's scared. And then he grits his teeth, bearing for one last United States of Smash! Punching the Nomu high into the air. But that's what he thought. The Nomu's body was cut in half and it was about to die. But it had to give All Might one final blow, stepping up into place, spinning back, slamming his fist into his head as a young... And there laid All Might, half dead. But Izuku thought, long live evil. No, not long live evil. Long live justice. So, fearful for what's next. Izuku lunged forward, fake punching Kurogiri in the face, and jumping back with Oshaku in his hands. And All Might looks at this and smiles, and he's like, young Izuku. And he looks at him, gritting his teeth and muttering under his breath, fuck this guy. And then he's like, eat my hair, young Izuku. And then Izuku's like, why, All Might, why? Because, though I may not have gotten to give it to young Mirio, he's more than capable enough to be #1 hero. By your bravery and willing to stand up head to head with a villain, I endow you with one for all. And in that moment, Izuku took the hair and ate it, and he felt the power!